Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another week of GunPla and Chill. Really curious to hear about what happened last week with trying to do the pre-recording, seeing if anybody was able to get it. It'll be a discussion. I know we're just starting here. Sorry for also starting a little bit late. Apparently, the streaming service wanted to go through YouTube versus Twitch. So, but hey, here we are, another week of Gunpla and Chill. We're working on Deathscythe still. He's looking as handsome as ever. You can see him here. And in case you didn't catch the last one, what we're working on today is actually we're gonna do the decals for the arms and shoulders. And if time allows it, and we're within our hour time period, then we are going to actually bust out the scythe and the oh goodness, what is it called? I still don't know what it's called. Let's see what it tells us in the book. In the book, it calls it a buster shield, so that's what it is. That's what we're going to be working on. So, just to basically finish up the hand stuff in general is the whole goal here. So, finish up the hand stuff, get that all ready before we start working on the waist and legs going down as well. So, we're going to start out with some decals, though. It's a very, very back page, which is kind of interesting. A lot of models will actually show it like fully decaled up, but this one shows us the model without the decals, which is, you know, kind of cool, kind of interesting. I kind of dig it. Just a nice, clean build here in the back. But I have to say, though, I really like so far the decal layout that they have done has just been superb for this one. So shout out to our designers. All right. Well, we are going to be needing some of this, some of that, and literally just a little bit of that. Got our water right here. We're going to need a few more tools from our last to be able to help out with decaling. Once again, a really needed tool is actually just a rag of some kind to absorb some water from the decals as we get them wet. We are working with water slides for tonight. I'm going to grab me a pair of tweezers to help out. And I'm also going to grab a blade to help out. And then it also doesn't hurt to have a pair of scissors as well. So, what do we have all this equipment for? Hopefully it's self-explanatory. But if it's not, I'm definitely want to accommodate for everybody here as well. So what we need to do specifically is, within our decals, some of them are easily cut off. That's where our scissors come into play. Make it nice and easy. Grab multiple at one time. And then for the not so easy ones, we're going to use our blade though as well. I prefer to try to get them knocked out with our scissors, but as you can see here from what we've done so far, we got some holes. We cut those out with the knife. I will say though that this is going to sound so weird if you ask me. This is going to sound so super weird. But within cutting with this blade, it's not nearly as accurate as cutting with these scissors. And the reason why is just the pressure. The pressure that you apply with the blade sometimes can make the blade draw itself to other places, and that's obviously not what we want to do. So the more control, the better. Alright, so we are going to get started here. We're going to work on the shoulders, which are, the coloring is going to be absolutely awesome. Having the red decals on top of some yellow there, and then of course the white decals on top of the dark navy blue should end up being pretty solid for this build in general. So I'm super stoked to see what it looks like. We have an interesting set here though. I'm looking at it and I see letters as well as numbers. Now this only has numbers on it, which makes that intriguing. Because what do we swap them with? Who knows? I also got to give a shout out to somebody else who built a Deathscythe recently. They did a superb job with the decals, And I'm not gonna lie, I may steal a little bit of their design because it was just that impressive. Um, and so we will show you that as well because we have some extra decals. These are the extra decals actually right here. These ones don't have a designated spot anywhere on the model itself if you look at it. So, but we have actually got to find what we're going to do with this. I think there's only one decal sheet with this entire model kit though as well. The decal sheet takes care of both the wings and, oh yeah, yep. I'm glad we looked a little bit deeper. Look at that. So, this is the other instruction sheet that came for the wings. And our shoulders are entirely different. And this actually gives you a full layout of like what it's going to look like in general with its color scheme. So we are looking to put some white ones here. These are ones that once again just custom, all numbers once again. So these are the ones that we're going to be doing. And this is why we do it. But once again, looking, I already mentioned it and I keep saying once again, I'm sorry about that. Catchword for the day, for those that have joined it. Looking at this, we've got these two decal sets right here across the board. They're not anywhere on this model. So thank you, Bandai. You have given us free reign to do as we would like with it. Now there is going to be one final trade-off that I'm going to mention here that we are going to see differently, and that is right here on the back of the hands. We traded off color schemes for back of the hand specifically. For gatherers, welcome to the channel. Good to see you tonight. So we're going to switch those off specifically because red is not going to show up against navy blue at all. Nope, decals do not blend in with colors there. So it's going to be completely hidden, and so we're going to go away from it in general. So looking at what we got tonight, we got 75, 76 for the shoulders pieces right here. And just like I mentioned, because it's right here on the edge, I'm actually going to use my scissors. Get that maximum amount of control there. Going back to practicing kindergarten skills. Alright. We're going to start off with these bad boys. And then once again, oh, they're so nice. Look at that. They even wrote the definition for it. Other side. So, Hantai Onaji is what that means in Japanese. So we're going to do the opposite on the same side. Hantai is opposite. And weirdly enough, Onaji is the same. Actually, is that Onaji? You know, I could be wrong. That's probably going to be side, but I can't read that one. It's too advanced for me. So, alright. So we got 75, 76. That's going to go on both sides, so I'm actually going to just do... I'm going to do front first, and then we're going to do back. I'm going to drop these into the water, literally just really freely and liberally there. And in the meantime, I'm going to prep for our other ones. So we got 78 and 77 right up here, 62, 61, and then right here in the inner part of the shoulder is 64 and 63. So let's go find them. We want those to sit in the water for no more than a minute. That's actually very, very key. No more than a minute in general. To let those sit in there. If not, they will get too wet, and that'll be a problem. Alright, so 63 and 64, there's a big grouping of them. We need a total of 4 for those total combinations. And so we're going to need one for the front, one for the back. Let's see what 77 and 76 looks like. Actually, 77 and 78. Okay, they're right here. They look good. We can cut those out too. Yeah, so we're going to X-Acto knife 62, 63, 64. And then we're going to just cut out these bad boys. Now, in the meantime, though, these are probably wet enough. It's probably been about a minute. I'm literally going to throw them over here. Can't see it, but on my rag. Can let them sit. And you can see the numbers are actually peeling themselves off. As a matter of fact, I like to get those out of the way just with your fingers while the rest of the adhesive kind of gets itself prepared to go into the model kit as well. So there we go. We're going to let it sit. In the meantime, I'm going to cut again with my scissors. Get that ultra fine precision. There we go. And once again, if you didn't get to catch last week, a fun announcement is that we're actually going to be dedicating a full-on series to just building Gundam Wing models. I just got a pretty fun haul in of Gundam Wing models. Galactic Toys had every single high-grade kit that I did not have for Gundam Wing, and I just pulled the trigger because I saw that they had every single one of them. And they were also really, really reasonable in price. So shout out to Galactic Toys there. Super cheap, coming from Michigan. Support local business per se. And got them here. I'm using this is like an old spudger, so it's a great way to like pull these off as well. You can also use your hands or anything else. People think about water slides. They're pretty movable after you put something on. I'm just going to continue using my tweezers to put them into the place. It looks like it actually needs a little bit more water on it, strangely enough. So you see we got a little bit more water right there on it. It's kind of hard to see on camera, but it's definitely wet. And from there, I am going to finalize it with a Q-tip. Yeah. Oh boy. Look at that drag. Do want to be careful with using metal tools here though, because it will easily rip the decals, which obviously you do not want to do. But with a very, very soft touch, gentle hands, it'll stick beautifully. Didn't even use that spudger that time. I'm actually going to go ahead and throw these ones for the backside into the water and finish up the front. For these ones specifically. And it looks like I got some gunk on there. Don't know where that came from. I better dab more water on this one too. I don't know how they got so dry. And no smart comments. Yes, I know I put it on a rag, but it should not have gotten that dry that fast. It has been surprisingly dry in my area, but that should not impact this. But there we go. We got our two decals on. Our front and left. Our left and right, excuse me. And I am still dying to know what the devil is this scrape right here. I can't tell. It must be a fingerprint of paint. The paint has since cured though, so it's what's there is there. Yeah, if we go too aggressive, it's gonna possibly take off our yellow. Yeah, it's just making it a little bit worse. So, actually, let's see what we can do about that. We can't do nothing about that. Even though there's 70 and 71, they're super close, but we're going to leave it as is. We'll let that, oh, that'll actually give us a good spot to put in that that extra decal that we do have. We'll see how that turns out. Alright. We're going to flip over Mr. Senior Deathscythe. Get him to the back. And do the same thing here as well. I'm actually gonna this time, because I saw how much it dried out. Yeah, so after sitting in there for a little bit, it's actually really loose. So we're gonna go ahead and apply almost right away versus having it sit on the towel. I'm gonna just use my fingers this time. Let it drop in. Now what is particularly awesome about model, like this style model kit that we have here, is that you saw that we have that little gray or black or whatever. I don't know, let's call it imperfection in the paint. Keep it simple. We have that present right there. But these shoulders are actually gonna, we are able to fully interchange these bad boys. So that's what we're gonna do. we're literally just going to hide the imperfection by switching the shoulders. Because it's still the same decals on each side. This is the time to do that specifically. And now, of course, yes, it's on the back, but who looks at the back nearly that much? Not really anybody. So, big old smoke and mirrors, guys. Before you like say, hey, this model builder is the best thing on the planet, it's also about what pictures do they share. So, a lot of imperfections out there. I promise you, don't beat yourself up if you have your own imperfections and your kits. We're obviously working to make them better. That's the whole end goal in the first place. But, additionally, it's all about hiding them. Hiding those things that don't make it look great. So, if you're also working on a kit while joining me, I'd love to see everybody else's work as well. So throw it up onto the Discord as well. Throw it up on the Discord, show it what it looks like. I'd love to give feedback. Not to say that I'm an expert in any means, but I love to give feedback and see your. Excuse me. I'd love to receive feedback myself. So, oh, that's bad. I don't know if you guys just saw that decal fell off. It fell off completely. You know, I see that sometimes happen with my P Bandai kits specifically. Like decals will indeed just fall off. I have no idea why. Probably because I'm not using a decal solution to make it super extra sticky. Up, and you see, that's what happens with metal tools too. It rips them. I told you. You can still fix them though. I'm gonna place it down my finger. We should be able to move that back into place. Pretty good. There we go. Pressing it down with the Q-tip, making sure all the water's gone. I'm going to let that sit for a little bit before I touch it anymore. Because it is being finicky. Alright, in the meantime though, we're actually going to cut out the squared off versions. And so, go in here, we're going to grab, we need to grab, once again, 62, 61. That's going to go right here. And then we also need to grab 64 and 63. So, across the board here. So I recommend actually cutting twice. And what I mean by that is that the first cut is to get your guidelines going through, because if you try to put too much pressure, your blade will probably bend a little bit. So we got those. Yep, and sometimes you make a super crooked line. My worst spot is actually specifically going down. I want to say I'm pretty straight going across, but going down I am particularly terrible. So don't hate me. Alright. Here we go. Cutting down. And then last but not least, fortunately this one's got a clear edge, so we're just going to go straight to the edge with it. Got nothing in my water right now, even though I got scared that I did. 64 is loose. And here's where we go through our second cut. Guidelines are there. Can apply just a little bit more pressure because you know where the blade's going to go. Alright, got 62, 63, excuse me, 63, 64. Here comes 62. It might be fully loose. Let's check it out. Nope, not yet. There we go. 62. I'm stacking them on top of each other because that way I know what numbers they are. go. Actually, curiously, if anybody is sitting in and willing to share, have you seen Hathaway's Flash yet? Just recently came out, Universal Century, good stuff, but I have yet to have a chance to see it, which is kind of a bummer, because I am super stoked to watch it, and have been ever since I saw some of the trailers and promo stuff, but I have not yet had a chance to get to it, and I feel crappy for it. How can I call myself a Gundam fan? I know. But yes, that is this case. Alright, so if you got it, throw in the chat. I'd love to hear about it. Give me a rating and a scale of 1 to awesome. And anything in between. Alright, so we're going 63, 64 first. 63 and 64. So let's get ours. So I'm actually going to do both of... Actually, I'm going to cut these bad boys. I'm going to do them in order. Front to back. Dropping in at 64 there. And cutting another one. I'm going to stack these back up just the way we had them. There we go. And since these are getting a little bit too loose, I'm going to give it a good dunk. Only leave it, and so some decals will say to leave them only in there for like 10 seconds. I've seen those mainly like if I've done model airplanes or military ones. Let's make it simple. American model kits is the ones I've seen that on. And then you let it sit in your towel. So we're only going to dunk it for a little bit of time, especially because these have just been coming so loose, and they actually, I did not like how that one stuck to my whatever it did stick to and transferred off as well. So I was not happy with that. So we're going to prevent that. So we're going to let the water sit on it on the outside. I am going to place them the way that they are going to go on the model though. So like such. And we are looking to see. Can I give it a little bit of time here as well? This is gonna, yeah, these. It looks like actually okay. So we got some on the arms as well. We got 2 on the arms, 1 on the wrist. Oh yeah, just 1 on the wrist. Oh, 2 in the wrist. Up, 2. I see the second one. It's actually, yeah, it's probably on the main sheet. They don't have them listed here though, as far as what numbers they are. Alright, so we're going to give it a shot. Once again, this was 10 seconds in the water, about, maybe a little bit more. And then now we are pushing it onto our model now. From that. Oh yeah, it's movable. It's movable. So that's how we're going to proceed forward. Yep, still got a lot of wetness too. Perfect. I actually, yeah, it's got a good guide spot here too for this one. I'm going to talk about a guide spot, especially with decaling. So this top line of this, I don't know, indent, or it's going to be this concave portion right here of the model, is a great spot to line this up with, especially in the paper itself. So that's kind of what the instructions have. I think they have it maybe just a smidge lower. But we're going to line up with that, and we'll line up with the actual shoulder on the side here. So that's how that's going to look. Do the same thing for the other side. And moving this one over the same way. I'm going to show it upside down so you guys can see my work here. Once again, lining it up with this, and then lining it up with the shoulder as well. Got them both lined up the way I want them to be, and I'm just slowly going to press it down to get the excess water out. 10 seconds in the water, just about a minute sitting on the towel. Yeah, no sticking. You can tell if it's not sticking by pressing on it with your finger afterwards. It looks super, it's super solid now. Unlike our last bit, which we saw them a little bit too dry, in addition to that as well, from the water. So don't let them sit in these P-Bandai ones. Clearly we need to not let them sit in the water too long. Alright, to the backside now. We'll drop both of them in the water. Once again, not going to leave them in there for very long. I'm actually stoked to work on that scythe. It's going to be pretty sick. I'm thinking that we should paint it too. Grays do not do well with hiding their colors, but I think the weapon as a really nice like gunmetal would be pretty awesome. So we're going to actually do some of the sanding first for it to see if it does bode well that way. If not, then we are going to indeed paint it. Which this, I mean, painting something like this is just super easy. It's literally just put it all together, throw some paint on it, and then call it good. It's all one color. The hardest part is just literally grabbing it somewhere, just because you want it to look like a solid piece. So, having built one of these already, well, just that size specifically, it looks really, really clean. Came out really, really clean. All right. Oh, we probably just let these sit in the water for a little bit too long. Got too happy there. So we are actually gonna dry these off real fast by dabbing into both sides. Giving it a dab. Okay. Flipping it over to the back. Ooh, buddy. That stuck to my finger. Yep, you can see it stuck to my finger. I accidentally touched it. So we're going to throw that. The dot goes in the inner part, which means this is the back of the left. Alright, come on off. It's being super dry. It's acting super dry. Yep, we left it in there too long again. But this is why you also want to let your paint cure for it. That's why we've never done really decals in the same video as we have done painting, because we want to let that paint cure, so that way the water does not impact it at all. And the water has not impacted it at all. We've been very, very liberal with our water usage tonight. Alright, and drag this one on. I gave it a little bit of extra water before I applied it, that way I didn't have to dip my finger in the water anymore. But it does the same result though as well. You can see that it's pretty wet here. And there we go. Maybe a little bit more movement. Alright, I think I'm going to let it stay like that. Alright, there we go. Our first set of 60s. Let's get our second set going here. Now this time I'm going to... Nope. I was going to say I was going to show like doing the same color, same one on both sides, but actually on their opposite sides, but it really is just not a smooth workflow per se. That's my concern there. Alright, so I'm going to need some help here from the group. Go ahead. Count this out. We're going to put it in the water for 10 seconds specifically, and then we're going to put it onto our towel. So dropping it in. Count it out with me. And that's probably enough. Okay, we're going to get our other one here. Got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright. And almost when these are ready to go, I'm actually going to drop these other ones in real quick, like drop them in, get them wet, throw them on the towel, place these, and then these ones will be ready to go right afterwards. So I'm going to increase my effectiveness there, is the main goal. These arms have just such good detail without any panel lining, which would be our final piece. Yeah, we can probably do some panel lining here. Just around like these elbow joints. Okay, so I'm going to dip these ones in real quick. Alright. Move a little bit higher. Alright, let's take a quick peek see. So it goes, this will be my left arm first. Now this is going to be, where's my guide point here? It's right here at the corner of this piece. So right at the corner of the yellow is where we want to line that up at. And it does dip down because this is a curved part as well, curved part of the shoulder per se. But I'm going to make sure that this portion of my decal is almost touching that point, like that. And then I'm going to kind of level it out a little bit more to make it look like the image. That's about perfect right there, as a matter of fact. So I'm going to grab the other one. Doing the same thing. Going to go almost to that point with this rounded tip piece. Finding those guide points. There we go. Time to get excess water away. There we are. But we have no time to waste here, so we're going to flip it over to the back and get ready to do the exact same thing. One more time. I can never unseed that crud that's right there. I don't know how that got there. And it's not as easy as just repainting. If we try to brush paint that with that yellow, it's not going to be the same color at all. So we live and we learn. What we can do though is add like a little bit of wash right there, make it look like a little bit of battle damage per se. Not too much. Obviously, I'm looking for a pretty clean build for this one, which will match its brother per se of the Deathscythe Hell that I've already made. And the other wing kits. The dirtiest kit that I have is Ultron per se. Ultron is pretty clean, but at the same time, he's also pretty dirty. I gave him some. My idea is that Wu Fei is always just too busy fighting and, you know, himself, that he would never care to wash his Gundam. And believe it or not, there is a ton of space crap in space. Who would ever thought? So yes, I made it a little bit dirty. Well, at the flip side though, Trage Kushrenada's Tall Geese 2 that I had it paired up with for a competition build, it was very, very clean, very prestige. Just a little bit of per se weathering. And so we can show that at a different time as well. But there we go. So we got our other two decals. We literally just did 4 just like that. And so we can also do that same process by dipping them all 4 in at the same time. And that's a little bit ambitious. You have to once again be quick, and I'm still wanting to show processes versus just being quick. That's not what this is about. If this was about being quick, this build probably would have been done already. Would not normally take me the amount of time that we've put into it so far. With the same level of detail. But I'm looking to show off. Maybe I have some skills that can be useful for you with your own building, or maybe it's just soothing. So I am going to give it its 10-second treatment here in the water. Looks pretty good. Gonna put it on the rag. But yeah, you could just take all four, dunk them in there, let them all sit, but you have to be willing to just once again, boom, 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 do all of them together. So we have a couple guide points here though as well. So we have the tip of this yellow. We have a tip that's going to meet here and a tip that's going to meet here. So it's going to really help to set the decal right here in the shoulder, which is going to be utterly fantastic. Makes for really, once again, a very, very smooth transition from actual decal paper to actually getting it on the model though as well. Alright, I got that crud off. I hate that. The numbers are super beneficial, but they're like a weaker version of the adhesive on there. I think it's just like barely printed. So it sometimes likes to stick underneath the decal, so get that off when you can. Like soon. So it doesn't follow you to the model. Alright, there we go. So we'll see this. So we got, there is 2 corners. So this is going to go into one corner, and this is going to be right next to the other corner, but not touching it. Not touching it, but in it, type deal. So I'm actually going to do this side first because my paper is set up that way. There we go. That's going to need a lot of movement, so I'm going to put that down and use these for the time being, just because it's a little bit sensitive right now. But there we go. This is into that corner right here, kind of like that, and that's right there. There's our guide for it. And then vice versa on the other side. And it's okay, like placing the water slides does not have to be an exact process as long as you've got the other tools to move them around. And there we go. Get off a little bit of water here. It's looking solid. Going to the back side. We already have the other decals wet. Here's what I'm talking about. I'm going to pull this off. These are just the numbers. Making sure I wipe them on a rag though too. I do not want to transfer them to the model whatsoever. And they will do that if they get stuck to your finger. In addition to that. Alright. Going right here in the left shoulder first. I'm going to leave it there. Because I want to get this one on too. Alright. Now it's going to be moving time. Line up those corners. Looks good there. This one might need a little bit more water actually to get it to line up. Yep, there we go. That's okay, especially when it's a little bit too aggressive right there, but I'm gonna take it all down some. There we go. Bada bing, bada boom. All right, Deathscythe, you're looking good, man. Looking real good. So don't worry if your decals look like a little bit glossy right now. We are actually, so one of our final coats that I like to do is a microsol sealer after everything, and that actually will really put these decals into place so they cannot be scratched off or anything as well. So we got 4 more decals actually to go for the shoulders here to be finished up. So we are looking to do bunches of 70, 70, 71, 71, and 70. Yeah, so we only got 4 of those, so I'm actually going to cut these out. Make life real easy. So here we are. And this is a 70, gonna drop it in the water real fast. Gonna cut out my 71, do the same thing, and then pretty much pull them out just as fast as I put them in. Seem to be working better that way. If you've been counting down, thank you. If I've been going too short, let me know. Alright, how do these sit? Alright, the bar is going to go down. There's a big bar, per se. They're going to go down and towards the inside. So it's going to look a little thing like that. And we're going to get 71 as the other ones in there. Right there. It looks like we're only going to have time to do all these decals tonight. That is it. No getting to the weapons. The Buster Shield. That's what it is. Just because there's so many. I mean, we've already placed on, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4, 8, 16 decals already just for these shoulders specifically. So guide points. Point here, red bar right is going to be kind of close to that per se. And you'll see what I mean by the red bar. So the red bar is right there. And so we're going to drag that. And it's going to be right below the blue though as well. So let's see how this guides itself out. So more like that corner is our guide, and we're going like that. It seems like it's really close to the other one, but that's how it looks in the picture though too. Now granted, because Gunpla is freedom, if you feel like you want to change that up, do it. As Shia LaBeouf would say, don't let your dreams be dreams. Guy's not wrong, man. Guy is not wrong. So, hope everybody's had a good Sunday, whether once again you spent it with family, gone to church, relax, just getting off of work. If you did work this Sunday, we appreciate your service for whatever you do. A lot of businesses that are open on Sunday are definitely a service-based business, so we appreciate your services for whatever it may be specifically, whether you're doing repairs, taking care of groceries, all very important work, guys. And we appreciate you. If you're in the medical field, in addition to that. Alright. Last two for the shoulders. Gotta move this into place real quick. There we go. There's actually a second guide point. This corner is lining up with that one, and that one lines up with that one. So, little eyeball thing to get that correct. Alright, we got that into place. Last, but most certainly not least. Alright, there we go. Actually, that one came out good, but not great, but good. Very little movement needed. Oh, that actually moved it too much with my hand. Sorry for the silence there. A little bit of focus was required. Alright. decals for the shoulders are officially done. They look good. The P Bandai ones came out super solid. We only have a few left once again for tonight. So we got 32 and 23. How funny. 32 and 23 are going to go on the right here in the arms. This one actually is going to be super tough. These ones right here in the cuffs are not going to be my favorite ones to do tonight, but we're going to do them. The interesting thing about decals, though, if you don't ever like any of them, just scrap them. You don't have to. I mean, of course, just like everything else with the model, don't feel like you're married to anything specifically. There's been times where I've had a decal that worked and worked good, and I left it there. But there's also times where I've had a decal not sit, or I've lost one, and I'll just take the other ones off those specifically. So, don't feel like you have to be married to them. Don't feel like you have to be married to them. Alrighty, let's so we got those two. But we're also looking for 32. 32. Oh, yep, there's the kanji for the same. That makes sense. Alright, 32. Oh wow, 32 is massive actually. And there's a total of 5 of them. That's interesting. Last time I checked, there's only 2 arms. And it doesn't say on both sides, it just says both arms. Hold tight to those because you don't know where those are going to be used again. So we're actually going to cut them out precisely this time using our blade. And we're going to get the, I always go for the last 2 so that way I can still have the number there with it. I am using the other cut points though as well to help out with guiding my blade. Because once again, the blade does like to slip on this paper, or bend even, if you apply too much pressure. Granted, a good blade helps out with that. Mine's pretty sharp right now. I just put in a fresh blade, like, actually when I started up today. Excuse me, no. Put in a flush blade right before I left on my trip, so. I did leave on a work trip and was gone this past week, so sorry if you didn't get to see the video, due to some, let's call it service issues, not internet service issues, like, but I was trying to use a new streaming source to kind of take my pre-recorded video. I did record one, but it didn't display the way I wanted to. As far as the stats show, it only broadcasted for 5 minutes, so sorry if you only got to see 5 minutes. And since I just got back in town as well, I will upload it to the YouTube channel so you guys can watch that video as well if you were looking to see what it looks like as well, because there were some good things done for the arms, and especially this yellow. This yellow is a hard color to paint, and I'm super glad that it's mostly done. We got these back pieces to do for the wings with some yellow, but outside of that, the yellow is a hard color to paint if you ask me. So it's pretty much done in this kit, which I cannot be more thrilled, as a matter of fact. So sometimes it sucks to paint. Yellow's a hard color to paint for me, and so it's a little bit more forgiving on a white base or a gray base, but on the black, you gotta be solid, consistent. That's the key. All right, got that placed. Once again, I am not going to be using the back of the hand ones because those are red, and that will not show up against this navy blue. Having done that before. Alright, so this is really, once again, I mentioned it was going to be a hard decal. I'm actually going to use a toothpick this time around. This is one of my painting toothpicks. But it goes right here on the cuff, like right at the base of the hand. I don't even know if it's going to sit properly. We're going to give it a shot though. We're going to give it a shot. Once again, if we don't like it, then we just get rid of it. I think this is going to work though. So I dragged it off with the Q-tip, and I am going to straighten it up with my tweezers. So right up underneath the cuff itself, I am using the hand as a means of guiding it. I have a irking feeling though that it's not sitting, yeah, it's not fully sitting right there. It seems like if you want to put this one on properly, you have to take the piece out. I've already got the hand married in there, so I'm not looking to take it out right now. Yeah, it looks like you need to take this one, and it doesn't say this in the instructions, nor will it. But when you have these cuff base hands ones and there's a decal on it, you're going to need to take it out first. Put the decal on there. Even seal it would be a great idea. And then from there, put the cuff in. Just because, once again, it needs that extra groove that's underneath it. And so once again, it's a tough one. It's a tough one to even get all the water off of too. Alright, hopefully that'll stay in there. Fortunately, it's not a very visible one, so I'm not going to lose too much sleep if it even falls off in the future. It probably won't, but pull this bad boy off. These ones look great though. This one on the left arm though is going to actually be covered up. So Seth, why do you do it? Well, because it's there, and we know it's there. Even though it's going to be covered up, we still know it's there. Don't judge me. I'm beautiful. Not just joking. So yeah, but we're going to put this here though still as well. Who knows? There may be a pose that we don't have the Buster shield on. You know, and actually thank Bandai for making these model kits. I would have never known that was called the Buster shield without it. Right, just a little bit more movement there. There we go. A little bit more movement here. Yeah, just a good little rotate. All right. Here we go. Oh, man. Now that I see it, it needs more rotating for both sides. And this one needs moving over. You guys can probably see it so much better than I can. This one needs a little dab of water to be moved now. It's a little bit too wet. There we go. Alright, actually on video they look pretty even now. So there we go. All of our decals for our arms completed. I'm actually glad we saved the whole video for that, because that was a lot of work today. Took us about the whole hour, that's for sure. So, whole hour to get all the decals done. It really is coming along. It's a beautiful kit. Quite happy with it so far. So we're I actually already have a scythe made from the other one that I got, so that I kit bashed. So that scythe is practically made. It just needs to be painted. It definitely needs to be painted. I gave it to my son as practicing nipping work, which fortunately he did not break any pieces of it, but he did let's say was unforgiving with it. He was definitely unforgiving with his cutting out of the pieces, so anyway, so that's going to be our show for tonight. So thanks for tuning in. We are going to be launching once again Gundam Wings Day, which is going to be dedicated just straight for like Gundam model kit. Gundam Wing model kits. I've got this master grade is not jumping over to it. This one is still sticking with with our Sunday broadcast though as well. But we are going to be jumping over onto Wednesday, this Wednesday even, Wing Zero. So that's going to be 9 p.m. Central Time. Tune in. It's going to be a great time. We're going to look at, once again, how to build high grades. And they're quite different than master grades. We don't have any. I don't have any. We might have some leftover decals from this, and that'd be great. But if not, then we'll see what we can do about the decals piece. I do like decals on pretty much everything. It really gives a nice finalized touch. But yeah, so Wednesdays is going to be dedicated to Gundam Wing kits. The kits that we have that we're going to be going with is the original 4. So we got Wing Gundam, Deathscythe. We're going to have Heavy Arms, Sandrock. We also have Wing Zero, which the one we're starting with. Mercurius V8. Space Leo, which I love purple. So give me a purple suit any day of the week. So Space Leo, and then from there we're going to jump back into. Then we also have more master grades of Gundam Wing across the board. Going to be working on season 1, so that means Heavy Arms, Sandrock as well, and then we'll finish it up. The final piece for all the Gundam Wing Day stuff is actually going to be the Endless Waltz, all 6 suits. Wing Zero custom version called Deathscythe L custom, Heavy Arms custom, Sandrock custom, and Ultron custom. P Bandai has actually been really good for us over these past 2 years to be able to release all those kits again for a very reasonable price. So I definitely picked them up at that point. So that's what Gundam Wings Day is going to be dedicated to, which means the shelf behind me, it's going to need to be cleared a little bit. We're going to get rid of, not get rid of, wrong words. We're going to go ahead and move some things around there to make room for our Gundam Wing kits in general. So super excited to bring that to you guys. Work on more Gundam kits, show you guys some more techniques as well. High grades are a different beast, especially because there is some finer painting. So some additional skills that we'll show off is reverse washing, as well as what do we do for fine painting as well, um, or brush painting, because there's a lot of brush work that needs to be done on high grades, if you ask me. And so we'll look at all those things specifically on Wednesday. Once again, 9 p.m. Central. Streams are no more than an hour, which since we started late, thank you for tuning in tonight as well. Have a fantastic night. Have a fantastic evening. We will catch you on the next week. So stand by. Have a wonderful evening. Bye.